Dance Mom's star recounts racism that she experienced while on the show. Put it up for a mass. This is extreme. So according to page 6, Dance Moms star Nia Sioux accused her ignorant former dance teacher Abby Lee Miller of making racist remarks while filming the hit Lifetime show. The dancer, who starred on the series from 2011 to 2017, made the shocking claims in a new book, quote, Bottom of the Pyramid. She was 9 years old when she first appeared on Dance Moms. The book title, Bottom of the Pyramid, is a reference to this young lady being placed constantly at the bottom of the ranking board that Miller would make at the start of each week to show the young girls where they ranked in their dance teacher's eyes. Sioux claimed that Miller criticized her braids during the filming of season 2. Quote, Abby told me that I needed to fix my hair because I looked awful, she said, on camera, no less. It's like a log coming out of the side of her head, she wrote in the book. She also wrote of another incident, this time not captured by Lifetime cameras, where Miller allegedly asked, quote, don't you just wish you had white girl hair? Quote, I was taken aback by her question, but I responded, no. Sue wrote, oh, really? She said, like, you don't think it would be much easier? Again, I told her no. It didn't matter what she said. I knew I didn't want to be white. Unlike the other exchange, this one never aired. Miller also allegedly criticized her body. Sue wrote that Miller believed Black people were physically predisposed to having flat feet. Damn. As she was often heard on camera criticizing her, quote, bad feet. Quote, she would say, well, you know your people have flat feet, end quote. Sue penned of the alleged incident, quote, this struck me as ignorant. I know plenty of Black dancers with perfectly arched feet. Quote, yet despite the fact that she actually believed this ridiculous generalization was true, she threatened punishment for my perceived shortcoming. Quote, if you don't point that foot, she warned, I'm going to come out there and break it. Yeah. If somebody has a limitation because of a physical challenge, then why break somebody's foot due to it? Unless you really don't believe that. You just, The model continued her claims and was criticized for her thighs, her butt, her muscular legs, and at one point in season 6, Abby talked about the size of my thighs in the dressing room. She wrote in the book, quote, she implied that I was fat because I was not working hard enough. That was just one of the many comments Abby made to create an illusion that I was lazy or just not strong as a dancer. Also, in the memoir, she claimed that many of her solos had racial undertone, which would be featured as a storyline on the Lifetime show. In one example, Miller titled Sue's first solo in the competition team, Natty of the Jungle, which was about a child left in the wild and raised by monkeys. On Tuesday, Sue chatted with Page 6 Radio about how painful specific topics were to write about, including the claims of racism she faced. Something that I cover a lot in the book is just like how I was seen. I was seen as the weakling, as the bad dancer. The newly minted author explained, quote, some of the things that were said about me, they tried to make the narrative like the little Black girl couldn't dance, and that was the narrative that they ran with. Sue continued to claim, quote, they had 7 seasons to turn that narrative around, and they never did. They failed to do so, and that's part of the reason why I had to write the book, because that's not the whole truth. I started in one place, but by season 7, by the end, I was a completely different dancer, a completely different person. I wasn't weak. I was a very strong dancer. Sue added that she loved being part of Miller's competition team in the beginning, but they changed little by little as the seasons went on. Just the things people would say, the negativity, the toxic environment, like it definitely got to me, especially by the end. I was definitely kind of burnt out. Sue continued that she doesn't have any kind of relationship with Miller today. Wow. You have to imagine these children are already under a pressure that most adults will never experience. Not only because of the competition, but they are on TV. where anyone can start trolling them, talking about them, criticizing them, etc. But to be criticized by the person who is your mentor, that woman is in the position of a coach. A coach is your mentor no matter what team you're on. You look to that person for your encouragement. You typically trust their advice, and they are someone that you can confide in if there's an issue. Every coach is a de facto mentor. To have your mentor do something like this over a period of years and make absolutely no apology about it, I understand why this sister wrote this book. All right, this is the thoughts here.
I'm glad that she did write this book because hopefully it's a beacon of light for other athletes who may find themselves in similar situations, whether it's based on their race or based on other abilities. Number one, that's child abuse, what this coach put Sue through all these years. Number two, I want to know where Sue's parents were, Doc. I just want to know. I'm not blaming them for the coach's behavior, but at some point, somebody gonna get slapped around. Number three, the nerve of her to talk about anybody's body. Has she looked in the mirror? And I don't even roll like this, Doc, but I got to roll like this today.
It had to be said.
Since she went there on Sue, as young as Sue was when she started abusing her. Number four, where were the Lifetime producers and directors and higher ups? See, they like this kind of stuff because on reality TV, you want this kind of tension and drama because it drives clicks and ratings. However, there should be a line drawn between children and grown A people on reality TV. Number five, she is beautiful. Black is beautiful in all of its different forms, and that coach knows that. That's why she came at her. Number six, Doc, even if Black people are predisposed to having flatter feet, what is wrong with that? That means God made them this way. And just because you got an arch in your foot or your people are more predisposed physically to have an arch than not, don't make you better than nobody else, though. See, falling into that, talking about her braids and stuff, all of that stuff is macro aggressions at this point, Doc.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. Black people still go through it of all ages. Our hair, our nose, our hips, everything about her, you criticizing it. Man, where was her parent?
And done so while being paid by the same families and on a hit Lifetime show. You should be happy that everybody who's on this team is on the team.